Hey everybody, no massive introduction or anything silly like that. Hopefully you guys can hear me as I try to get myself a little settled here. I still haven't really set up this laptop too much to get it kind of ready for the stream out here, because I brought my big rig into my room so I can hook up my 12 terabyte drive and use that. Matter of fact, major accomplishment yesterday, last night actually, when the Queen and I finally got home. Is that thing not working now? Oh, for crying out loud! I'll check it later. But a massive accomplishment was I have this 12 terabyte drive that I got off of Amazon, and it has everything, from GameCube to Nintendo to Atari to Commodore 64, which it has all the Commodore 64 games on there. But how do you not have Project Firestarter on it? Hi, Rob. Hope you're having a good day. I am, my brother. Hopefully you can hear me. That's a big thing. I'm all scratched up this morning already. Project Firestarter is probably one of the best games on the Commodore 64. Besides the early versions of the Prophecies, early role-playing games, because they were amazing on the Commodore 64, because you were able to do things that you just couldn't normally do. Did you feed the cows yet?
Yeah, that's one going right now.
Oh, okay, because they were losing their minds. I just didn't know if there was something wrong, that's all. I'll tell you. They're funny. They all wait at the trough in a line. But getting back to this game thing. So, the Atari 2600, which is a system that's so outdated. I know people, have nostalgia because that was the only thing that was out there. But it wasn't that great. There were a couple of really great games. If you got to list the best 2600 games, Adventure was a lot of fun back in the day because it was something that was so different. Indiana Jones was a ton of fun. I enjoyed that. Haunted House was fun. What was the other things that I really liked on there? It wasn't until the Intellivision games came over. The real sports stuff was really kind of good because you were able to play some sports. I loved playing basketball. The original basketball. With my brother, he'd get so mad he'd shut the damn thing off. And then later in the series, there was this game called Dragon Stomper, and it was really the first RPG that was on this thing. And what you would do is you had your Atari 2600, and then you had to put this thing in there, and then you had to hook up a tape recorder to it because the game was on a cassette. So you put the cassette into the thing, and when it tells you to hit the button, you would hit the button, and it would run and put the data in. And the game was broken up into 3 sections. You went across this countryside, and you were trying to get potions. You were trying to get this paper so you can get over the bridge past the guard. You were fighting bugs, spiders, demons, golems, all these different things. You're trying to get the axe. The shield didn't really do anything. It was more cosmetic, and you could sell it when you got to the town. So you would beat everything there and try to get as much money as you can and stay alive. You would die a lot. But once you were able to conquer everything and get at least $1,500, you had to get over the bridge. Okay, so you hand the guard. If you tried to fight the guard, he had 120 hit points. And good luck with that. Yeah, okay? Real mess. So you would fight him, and you would get over, okay? Well, you wouldn't fight him. You would find that piece of paper, and you would hand it to him, and then you would get over the bridge. Then you would be in this worn-out town, okay? And you had to buy supplies. And you had to try to have the right combination of supplies, okay? Because there were certain things that you were going to need in order to beat this dragon, okay? So once you got everything, and then you hired some warriors to come with you, or enlist some men with you, you went to the next section, and you had to go down this path, and it was full of traps. There were poison darts you had to try to get through, and all you are is this dot, okay? So then you get to this cave, and you have to go into the cave, lower yourself into the cave, and you had to make sure you had the rope, or you were going to take some damage. Then you let the warriors go, and while the dragon's at a distance, you're peppering them with a longbow that you had to purchase. Okay? So once you took him out, hit him with that, and once he took out the warriors, you had to make sure that you had enough medicine and vitamins in order to restore your hit points. And you had to kill the dragon, who was 100 points. Okay? And after 40 years, I finally beat the game. Okay? The reason being is I was playing it with my little brother at the time, and he was only like 4 or 5, and he would watch me play it all the time. And then I think I got rid of... I never finished it, and I got rid of it. And then to try to find that game was impossible. And then where are you going to find a tape recorder? Okay, and where are you going to find this whole device thing? So on that 12 terabyte drive, that game was there, and I went, oh hell yeah, I'm playing that. So last night I was determined. I said, okay, I know what I got to do. I'm going to beat this game. I got there, got everything going. And I was tired from the day, and I started dozing off. And I go, no. I'm not gonna fall asleep in my chair. I am going to finish this damn game, okay? And I got everything. I had about $1,700. Okay, so I go into the town, I buy everything. I don't get all the things. I got a couple blast spells, and then I hired all 3 of the warriors, and then I go onto the path. I make it through the path unscathed. Except I got poisoned, but I had medicine to fix that. No problem, right? Crawl down. Now, there's a couple ways you can beat the dragon. You can physically take him out, or you can try to go around him. And if you have an unlock spell, you can unlock the gate, because you have to get this jewel that he's protecting. Okay? Nah. It's going to be him and me. We are going to fight it out. We are going to brawl until there's no end. Okay, I hit him with like 3 blast spells, which do about 15 points apiece. Then the warriors are peppering him for like 2 or 3. Okay, he's kind of far from me, but every turn he moves like a bunch of spaces, and he's getting closer to me. And I'm hitting him with the longbow for 5. I up my dexterity so I can hit him, right? Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. 5 here, 4 here, 2 there. Now I'm losing track of how much damage I've done, right? He hits me for 8, hits me for 10, okay? And I've got 31 for health. And I'm like, I don't think I'd take some vitamins. Start peppering him. Now I start missing. Every hit I miss. And then he kills all 3 of my warriors. Now it's just him and I. And fortunately, I took some more medicine, some more vitamins, full health, hit him, he dies. And I'm like, oh. So it's flashing. You killed the dragon. You killed the dragon. So now you're free to go, because the gate opens. I grab the jewel, and the screen flashes in all its glory. I took a picture of it. I was so happy. And I took a video of it, and I sent it to my brother just to make him feel, yeah, here we go. Hold on, let me put the sound on, because I'm talking some mad garbage. Not the fact that it took me 40 years to beat this game, okay? I don't know if you can see this, but we'll try.
Part 1 done. That's how you do it.
Talking garbage. Talking mad garbage, right? All proud of myself. Now, the only other thing I haven't beaten, and this kid, my brother, he beats this game. He beats it all the time, okay, is Jaws on the NES, all right, the Nintendo system, all right? So I go over there and start playing that thing because I said, no, I'm going to beat this. I am going to beat. I got my ass kicked. Severely. I mean, it was disgusting. And there was nothing I could do about it. All right? Because, I mean, how are you going to overcome this? Right? This is a game where, you know, it's kind of a shooter. You hit something, then you go into the ocean, and you got to hit these jellyfish and these stingrays, and they drop shells, and you got to collect the shells and then bring them to another port, and it'll give you more power. So every time you shoot, it gets better. But eventually Jaws starts chasing you, and then you run into him, and if you don't have enough power, you're just trying to stay alive and have him not eat you. And it's just hard. 3 lives is not enough for me. And I just got my ass kicked. But today, after I get some things done, because that's why I'm a little late this morning, because the Queen had an agenda today. We have to put up a gutter on my mother-in-law's place. So I put the boards there so I could put the gutter, because she decided to get this rainwater thing, because it rains all the time here in Florida. As you know, we barely come live in the afternoon because it's the thunder capital of the world. And what it does is, when it rains, it collects all the water, and then instead of using the well, you use the rainwater from the barrel. And it has a little spigot on it, and you just turn it, fills up, and then you take care, you water your plants or whatever else you need water for. Okay, throw it in the pool, for God's sakes. But so I got to put that up for her. So I was out there this morning, and I screwed in a couple boards. She glued the couple pieces that we needed for the gutter, and then, after that dries, she's going to glue another piece onto it. And then what we're going to do is tomorrow we'll probably just screw in the gutter. Today I've got a couple things to tape. I've got a couple videos I want to do. I'm actually ahead of things a little bit, which is pretty good. Another correction before I get into the auction stuff. I want to talk about something that I screwed up, but you're going to see a review tomorrow on a game I really like, and that's Fozzie Football. So much fun. Now, when we did the live video the other day, we were flicking it. You don't flick it, you shuffle it. I'm so used to flicking. You need to shuffle. The game is so much fun. That app just does wonders. Let's say hi to everybody. Hello, Play Till It Hurts. Good morning, Rob, from Matthew Rose. What game was I talking about? I was talking about Dragon Stomper for the Atari 2600. So, the only... And it has every... And I'm trying to figure out how I can do this. Because I am a massive old school gamer. There is a baseball game that I really like, and it was in the arcade. And every time we used to go to Lake Squash-a-Frog, as we called it. It was Quasi. They had a little amusement park there. This when I was up in Connecticut. This is going back quite some time. I would take my daughter there. She was really small. And I would go into the arcade. And there was this game, Baseball Seasons 2. And it had this little thing, ting, the joystick that would retract. And it was just so much fun because you would throw pitches and try to strike them out, of course. I just want to buy that stupid video game. just so I can have it at the house. I loved it that much. Hold on for a second. What are you up to, bro?
I got some cleaning to do out there.
Okay. Hey, that spigot thing for Mimi, you and I got to take a look at it.
Okay.
At some point, because I don't want that to bust and the cows not to have water.
True. Okay.
All right?
Yep.
So maybe just take a look at it and let me...
I'm going to be out there in a minute.
All right, bro. Thanks. There's always something to do on the farm. And we try to... I'll get back to the baseball game. But, you know, we try to... The channel's changing in a lot of ways. I'm still going to cover games, but, you know, I ran a poll, and like 65% of you want to see what happens on the farm. The other 35, oh, no, I don't care. All I want to see is games. So to the other 35, hey, I don't care. But I wanted to see what the temperature of it was. But I'm kind of, like I said, you know, in a video that you saw on Friday, at least once or twice a week, because I'm cutting down on videos, we're going to cover things on the farm. We're going to do certain things. I'm going to show you. I'm going to introduce you to each cow, all the chickens, the goats, the bees, how, you know, all the pains and things that we go through, because I'm just find that is more of an enjoyable thing to document than to just constantly be inside doing gaming stuff. I kind of want to do something different, because everybody and their brother is making gaming videos, and you get lost in the shuffle. You know, like I said, being sick for as long as I did, I fell way behind, and now there are tons of guys. I'm not going to wheel my wife out here, okay, and try to get more views cheaply. I'm not going to be of any kind of shock value. So I wanted to do something different and make it, hey, I'm a guy, an athletic guy. Here's the things that I do. We did a video the other day with me in the gym, and some other things. But I think the way I want to do things is kind of do something different. You know, I try not to make the channel about me, but I want to make it about how you work your way around playing games and your hobbies, and make it about my hobbies, but the things that get in the way of my hobbies, and how we do things, and how we overcome things. And I think for me, that's interesting. Now, if anybody watches, doesn't matter. Okay? The most dangerous guy in the world is somebody that says it is what it is, because they just don't care. And that's scary for a lot of people. When you have people that just don't care, and we have too many of those. And I think I'm just at that point where I just do my thing, you know, and people watch, great. If not, that's okay too. I'm not trying to reinvent myself or anything like that. I just want to show my life. So what else am I doing here? Well, I can't play all this stuff, so we're going to auction a lot of it off, okay? And that has been such a trying thing. You've got to make some decisions on some really great games. Now we've and I'm kind of one of the things that's got to go is Shadows of Brimstone, Forbidden Fortress. I've got that all boxed up, but I found a few more things, some brand new things, and I'm looking at one of the things now, the Omni-Ray Carrion Phoenix. I'm going to throw that in the box as well. It's all painted and everything, and I've been through that. So that's one of the things that's going to go up on the auction again, because the last people, I emailed them, and then they ghost. Okay, and I'm not letting it go cheap, and you know, it's just one of those things I can't do. We're going to have another big box. Now, this auction isn't going to take... I'm not going to announce the lot numbers until next week, next Sunday. So next Sunday is when this will go, and then it'll go through Labor Day weekend, and that's when it'll end. So, you know, I try to hold off a bit, but I need the space, and it's ungodly what I have. So if people want to make an offer on things, if I accept it, great. If I don't, hey, whatever. You know, I'll just run it in the auction and we'll see how it goes. But I want to get another lot done, another thing done at the, before the beginning of September, and then at the end of September we'll have another auction, and then in mid of October, and then we'll have a big Christmas one around Thanksgiving, and then that's it. I mean, I should be able to clean out enough of this stuff here. But there's a lot of things I want to keep and showcase on the channel. I'm kind of just changing how I do things. What were some of the things that I wanted to get rid of? Okay, and the thing is, if you want to say, hey Rob, I'll buy that off you for X amount, you can do that. These things that I'm announcing, or if there's stuff that you think that you might want, hit me up. All the warfighter stuff. I have the World War II stuff, the modern stuff. I've got everything that you can imagine for it. I got the 2 Foot Locker cases. That's going to go. Madara. It's fully painted. That's going to go. Kingdom Death Monster. I have the treasure chest and the 1.5. Part of it is partially painted. That's going to go. I know it's tough. The Forbidden Fortress. Shadows of Brimstone. That's going to be in the auction. Deep Madness. Fully painted, glorious game. That's going to go. Reichbusters, fully painted. That's going to go. We're going to have a couple of boxes full of war games. They are going to go. Then some miscellaneous stuff. Agents of Mayhem, Pride of Babylon, new in the box. Going to go. Proliferation. I think I'm going to throw that in there. I wonder if I'm ever going to play Darkest Nights. It's a tough call. Tough call. I have a copy of Fortune and Glory that's going to go. I have the original one. I'm thinking of Who's Scowling. What else am I? Just looking around. I'm just trying to figure what I want to get rid of. I'm trying to get everything to a point where it's nice and neat, and I can start doing Onslaught's going to go. I'm going to throw that into a box. I think I'm going to keep that. I'm going to keep that. Arkham Horror will never leave. Boy, that Gears of War sealed. Boy, it would have to be the right price to get rid of that. Merchants of Venus. Am I ever going to play that? Oh, what else do I got here? Well, I'm not going to get rid of that. I think I'm going to keep all the Dungeons and Dragons box games. I'm not going to get rid of anything on this shelf. Final Girl will always stay. Anything from Stonemaier games will stay. The Edge from Awakening Realms. That's one I wonder if I should keep. And I've been arguing with myself over a couple of games. I have an extra copy of Oathsworn that I'm thinking of getting rid of. Descent, Legend of the Dark. I got both those things I'm thinking of getting rid of. Boy, I've got some stuff that can really go. Munchkin Dungeon, that can go. I have the Kickstarter of that. I think I'm going to make a box full of that stuff. I will never get rid of a Chip Theory game. I mean, there's so much stuff on the other side. Oh God! Oh, and then I got stuff underneath here. Hey, Belle. Monster Hunter World. I think I might keep that. Which would you keep? Monster Hunter World or Primal? I mean, that's a tough call, isn't it? Monster Hunter World or Primal? That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I think I don't know. I think I want to keep both. I'm thinking of doing I'm actually thinking of getting rid of my Warhammer quests, Curse City, Shadows over Hammerhall, and Silver Tower as a giant lot. But boy, it'd have to be glorious. And it's all painted too. That's a tough call. What are you doing with Darkest Dungeon? I haven't decided yet. I painted a good part of it. I may dump that as well. I'm never going to get rid of Mage Knight. Oh, I am going to get rid of Swords and Sorcery and all its glory. That's going to go. Blood and Plunder. That's going to go. I have the box set there. Good game. I just don't have time. I just don't have time of it for it. Skies of Fire. Aeronautica Imperialis. I think I'll hold on to that. There's a couple of games I just wonder why I hold on to them. They're still in the shrink wrap. I mean, what's wrong with me? I'm never going to get rid of that. Zaya. Silent Death I'll never get rid of, even though I have 2 copies of it. Massive Darkness, maybe? That's fully painted. Massive Darkness 2. That'll clear up a lot of room. Tainted Grail stays. Pericles stays. I gotta start writing things down. Ogre stays, of course. So, a lot of stuff going up and a lot of stuff going out. Oh, I have an extra copy of Robinson Crusoe because I'm keeping my collector box. And my boy was just so cool to let me go. Don't feel bad. I still have games in shrink as well. Never mind what is wrong with us, Rob. Yeah, I want to start playing more things and stuff like that. And I'm really enjoying some of the things that I'm doing. I'm just like that Fozzie football. I had so much fun. I think I played it late. I just never stopped playing it. I played it most of the weekend. There's just so much stuff I'm going to be throwing in the boxes. But really big stuff is going to go. That is taking up a lot of room. Stars of Kairos. I can get rid of that. That's a piece of garbage. Especially when ISS Vanguard is just so much better. Awakening Realms rules. And then I have such a bad taste in my mouth with Undaunted. See, that's a funny thing. You meet people when they're first coming up, and you go, oh hey, this guy's making some really great stuff, and you befriend them and this, that, and the other, and then when they become famous, they just forget who you are. And it's like, okay, I know I'm not the biggest channel on the planet, but You know, I was there for you when nobody was. There's so much just got to go. Resident Evil, I can get rid of all that, and it's all painted. Or I'll give it to my daughter. She'll hold on to it. I gave her my talisman set. She holds on to it. Matter of fact, I was thinking of getting a new talisman set just to have up here. But I gave her the original one that we had. And she holds it because we played the heck out of it until we were blue in the face. Dungeon Quest will never go. So, you know, just a lot of stuff that I gotta make some really snap decisions on and clean out. Star Wars Armada, Legendary. I think I'm gonna send that back to Pete. Or if I got enough money where I could. So tough. There's so much stuff. I don't know why I hold on to that game there. The guy's company went under. Myth. I should get rid of that. I have the Blackwell expansion all in which we'll call it Thing. Why I don't play that? I'm not getting rid of the Godzilla game. I'm just looking around here. Just so much stuff. And then I have these really expensive games. I have Scorched Earth and Second Front. Each one of those are almost like $500 a piece. They're from Europa, the GDW's games. Second Front was GRD. Wow. They're in the shrink wrap. Okay? Good luck trying to find those for a reasonable price. Phew. I played those so much, and then when we moved, somehow they disappeared, and I found them again I went to Huracan, and the guy sold them to me. I think I paid $400 for both of them at the time. This was going back a few years, and I was like, oh my god, I got these back. And then you start thinking, well, do I have the room to play these, and who is going to play with me? No one. So you kind of double guess yourself on that. And that's just here. I haven't even gone to the storage unit, which I've got to start working on that as well. It's just never ending, folks. I got one more storage unit I got to clean out. One more. Marvel Zombies. I've got a ton of stuff for that. You know, I need to get that cleaned out. Are you going to get rid of Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era? I think it's already gone. Are you going to... the one from Chip Theory Games? Yeah. I'm definitely getting anything from Chip Theory Games. I am getting. Those guys have always been good to me. From the very, very, very beginning, they were always there for me. I remember going to Origins for the first time, and I ran into them, and they were just so nice to me. And I was about to leave, and the guy runs up and he goes, "Here, I want to give you a review copy." And I went, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, it's not out yet." And I read it in the airport. I read it on the flight. It was for Undertow. And then I went... Yeah, it was Undertow. And then when I got home, I played it. I did a review for it. And I sent them a copy. I was so thankful to them for just being so nice to me. And this is when I was itty bitty. I think I had like 2,000 people following me. They always liked what I did and what I did on the Dice Tower when I was there. The good old days. But it's different now, you know. All these people, all I see is, everybody that went to Gen Con. And I'm so glad I didn't go to Gen Con because so many people got COVID at Gen Con. And I'm allergic to it, so I can't do it, And that was one of my biggest fears, was going and getting sick. And I didn't want to do that because if I did, I can't do that battle again. Not at this age, But, I keep fighting. Now I put all the weight back on. I put too much weight on. I got all my strength back now as of last week. I maxed out to where I normally am. So I'm at full strength, which is surprising for somebody in their mid-60s that they can, lift the weight that I do, which I was very happy. And I now I've got to start taking some weight off. Now that I got my strength back and I put the muscle back on, I've got to take a little bit of weight off my midsection. I've got to take about 10-15 pounds would be good, I think. So I've been going playing racquetball, which I'm getting better at, and then they have an Olympic-sized pool there. So right after racquetball, I hit the shower real quick. Then I go do about 5 or 6 laps in the pool, which is just very refreshing. Then head home and start work. That's a great day. Great day. So I couldn't feel better. I taped some things out there for the farm thing, and I saw and I said, yeah. I could see, because in order to put on the muscle, you've got to eat, and you've got to eat a lot, okay, to grow your muscle back. Remember, I was down to 120 pounds with my frame, over 6 foot, big frame. That was almost death, and I looked like a skeleton, with all my problems. And now I've got to be tipping about 255. So I was able to put all that back on, which is just incredible, over the last 8 months. And now I want to get right to my perfect weight, which is probably about 242, 243. That is my blunt force trauma weight, and that's when I'm at my fastest. Even though I'm moving this weight pretty quickly, especially playing racquetball, which I'm kind of shocked that I can't get it off. But I think, age, gotta remember, I'm in my 60s, and, weight doesn't come off the way it used to. Muscle doesn't stay the way it is. And, it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. Matthew says, I saw CTG at Gen Con, and they couldn't have been nicer. They gave me a free premium chip for Elder Scrolls. That's cool. They're just fantastic people. I love those guys. I really do. I love their games. I love their imagination. They have become, one of the top companies, along with Arcade Wonders. I mean, how do you not, gush about Arcade Wonders and all the things that they're doing? Good morning. Glad to hear you are lifting what you want again. Yeah. I'm kind of surprised. Matthew goes, you're over 6 feet tall. Yeah, I'm 6 foot, 6 foot and a half inch. Just over 6 foot, barely. My family's traditionally short too. Well, my father was short, but my mother's side was tall. So it's funny, we take a family picture, and I think I have it here. It's kind of funny. It's the last time I was together with my parents. This is going back a lot of years. I wasn't gray. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, yeah, there it is. And you can see Okay, let's see. Come on. So that is my family. It's my mom next to me. It's my father next to her. My brother Mikey next to my father. My brother David, who I still talk with. You can tell he's almost as tall as me, but he's not. And then the sneaky, no good, rotten brother that's next to me. And then you see me, I'm taller than everybody. Bigger than everybody. Oh, that was a while ago. That was the last time I saw my mom. That was the last time I saw my mom. She's a nice lady. It's just, we just couldn't see eye to eye. Ugh. It is what it is. It is what it is. But, yeah, so, my father's not doing too well, according to my brother. I haven't talked to my father in 15 years, something like that. Of course, when my mom passed away 2 years ago, he lost his mind. But that's a whole nother story. Me and my brother. The war that him and my father have had, and I've counseled him as much as I could. You know, families are difficult. We all know that. Oh, shoot. I'm just looking at that. So we cleaned up my main room there, and I think we're going to be taking a whole bunch of Godzilla stuff and putting it in there. My Godzilla collection. If you ever saw my Godzilla collection, it's ridiculous. Got all my cool Nova stuff here. Thor. Herman Luttman. The great Herman Luttman. Wishing you the best. The next auction sounds juicy. Yeah. Of course, I'll never get rid of a Herman Luttman game. Those always stay in my collection. I'm doing all right, pal. I'm just trying, you know, it just comes to a point. I wonder if you run into this, you know, especially being a designer and somebody that's played games as much as you have. You know, do you get... You know what we're missing? We're missing a great baseball game. Your game... I actually got a hold of, believe it or not, because that's a whole nother story. The guy that said he sent it to me, but never did. And I really enjoyed it. But I know that you always said that you hated that baseball game. That you thought you could do better. And Stratomatic games are cool. All right, they're all right, but they need something. It needs something different. And I've been doing a lot of different games, a matter of fact, and you know, I love English football as well as American football. You're going to see me taking a look at counterattack, and I've got a video coming out in a week or so talking about sports games, some of the best sports games out there. And it's amazing. It doesn't have to be overly complicated. I think sometimes people try to be too smart with things. And I think we really need a really good baseball game. You know that? And I'm not a giant baseball fan. I love to play the game. I mean, I was great at it. It's just I'm not the guy that... I'm not a guy to sit there and, you know, follow 162 games a season, because modern baseball is boring. Now, there's a game, and I ended up writing, well, you know something? There is a great baseball game, but is it a true baseball game? Oh, God, what the hell's the name of the game? Baseball 20 something or another? Oh, that guy did it. And it's Baseball Highlights. Baseball highlights is good, but I'm talking about true baseball. All right, that's what I was going to ask about. Absolutely agree with you about needing a unique take on baseball. Lords of Baseball is pretty good, but not enough baseball flavor. See, I wrote those guys to see if I can get a review copy, and I never heard back from them. Whatever. But something more about running a team through a whole season. You know what I really would like to see, and this is the God's honest truth. Oh, look at Play Till It Hurts playing up to the Lord of all things, Mr. Lutman. Mr. Lutman, thanks for Plum Island Horror Game. It is a great game. It is a great game. But I'm going to say something, Herman. Okay? How come I was not a superhero in that game? Okay? Thank you for putting my card in there and my gem. But we should have Rob Warren in there killing zombies. I mean, you know I'm going to take some bros out with me. Okay? You know, I may get overcome, but I want that hero's death, bro. I want that hero's death. I'm kidding with you. Play Till It Hurts. Thank you so much. His expansion is going to be glorious, of course. That is such a great game. I love that one. I love the Gettysburg game that he did with Mark. I mean, Mark just does things on such a grand scale. And when you take that thing out, the one thing that I was always impressed about were things that I didn't know. You know, that you know, it wasn't always that they wore gray and blue. You know, there was, you know, this burnt orange, not a burnt orange. You know, some of the units wore different types of uniforms that weren't conventional that you would see in a North and South thing. And the attention to detail, and of course the beautiful map by the late artist, who was just absolutely fantastic. I mean, just a great. And then, you know, what does he do? You know, just keeps making these unbelievably great games. Always has. One of my. All right, Bill. It's just the kids. You know, the sci-fi series, Dimension X. I mean, if you haven't played that, go over and I don't know if Mark still carries it, but go get that. I never had so much fun with a trilogy as much as I did that. I wish it was a giant box game. I really do. Thanks, Rob. The Rocket Chickamauga is just about ready, and the Rebel colors you're thinking about is butternut. That's what it was. Oh yeah, thank you. Oh, the Rocket Chickamauga is just about ready. I can't wait to get my hands on anything he does. I just really always enjoy, because it's not the same old thing. People stick with the same old formula, and what you do is it's kind of all over the place. He did a baseball game. A lot of you didn't know that. It was a baggy game. You know, then you know you're doing the Rangers game. Then you're doing you know, a Gettysburg game, which he does a lot of Gettysburg game, but they're all different in a different way. Then now you do the Plum Iron Horror. You know, it's just always a different theme, and it's just brilliant. And I don't think Herman gets the credit that he honestly deserves. I said Hall of Fame, him and Richard Launius, and yet we nope. They got the little good old boy thing where you put people in that make one game, and okay. If you're going to do that, then, I mean, if you're going to do that, you've got to acknowledge people that make things and work things and make things that are actually fun for people. There's actually an old game that does exactly that. I can't think of the name, though. I am never going to be the first to think of anything. I don't know about that. But what I want out of a baseball game is where I could take a team, okay? And I don't know if any of you have ever played retro football on your phones, okay? It is the most simplest football game in the world. But it does a couple things, okay? You are the head coach, and you can play as the quarterback, okay? And you know, pass the ball, you can hand off and control the runner a little bit. It doesn't do much. Matter of fact, I'll show you. Because I can just exit out of the game. It is a very old school game, but it is a lot of fun. And at the end of the season, you have to make decisions. You have your draft, you have your free agency, and you get your team ready for the next season, okay? And, you know, people get hurt during the season, you know, different things will happen, but you're in control of that. And it's just such a simple game, and such simple things make such a difference. And I can't understand why somebody can't do that with a baseball game, okay? You know, where you have a bunch of players, okay? You are homing your team. You've got people over in you know, that you can kind of bring up from the minors, okay? Maybe somebody gets hurt, one of your roster. Maybe it's the end of the season and you're not doing too well. You want to bring up some new breed. Then you have to control their salary, okay? And then go into the next season, okay? People get older. Well, I got to get these two guys out because they're going to want too much money. I have $1 million to spend. Well, I'm just saying. And then you have to fit within that kind of, you know, with Blood Bowl, you have $1 million to build your team, okay? How do we not do that? Bat Flip Destiny, I really like the way that looks. Yeah, it's actually pretty decent. I think it needs a little bit of work there. But I think the guy has something there. But I want something where you've got a nice field. When you hit a home run, it feels like you hit a home run. When, you know, you can keep track of baseball averages and stuff like that, and stats and stuff like that if you want to. Or you can just keep it simple and just play. I want to make it as complicated. I want to be able to make it the way if I wanted to keep stats, or I think what you have to do is you have to make a game that is very, very kind of simple, but the players matter. And of course, being able to be the general manager, but also be able to, if you wanted to, be able to keep those stats. Give people the advanced mode to keep stats. And you know something, this guy's really good at left-handers, or this guy's really good against a right hand. Make it as deep as you want to. And I don't think anybody really hits on that. And it's a shame. Because you really could make some things. I would like a baseball game where you can play against teams in different eras. You see, that doesn't attract me as much as being able to play a different era. Okay? If I wanted to play, you know, 70 types of baseball, I'll play 70s. Or if I want to play in the 30s, I can. But, you know, it's got to be appealing to the eye, too. You know? You got to have a beautiful diamond, you know, a nice stadium that looks really good on the board. And is appealing, you know? I just think there's got to be a way to do it. Changing your defense, you know, maybe that'll help a little bit to change a stat. Hey, this guy likes to go, you know, this guy's right-handed. We've got a guy on second base. Do we want to play a little in and, you know, be able to split up boxes where you're going to play in more or play out more? And if you're playing in, that gives you a better chance to pick them off at home from second, you know? Because you're looking for, you know, you're looking for that ball with seeing eyes and stuff like that. Having stats that, This guy has endurance. Okay, so maybe his pitching stats, and baseball is a lot of chance. Okay, so having a proper die to do certain things. I think you could do it with a D100. 2D10s basically. Okay, the first couple innings, it's 80% that this guy's going to be throwing good, and then have it, after 6 innings he gets tired. Okay, so do you want to take a chance because his stats drop down to the 50% out of that 100% percentile? That would be kind of interesting. I know you're hearing me, Herman. A baseball game with 100 percentile die. And their stats are based on percentages. Maybe. This might be controversial, but what if a baseball game that honors the Negro League? Well, it should be. Why not? That is an error. That should be included. Like I said, all different errors. Satchel Paige. All those guys. It's tough to balance the crunchy details of the game, as in Stratomatic, etc., but also provide a way to get through an entire season in a reasonable amount of time. And when other teams, there's a way to do it, Herman. And the way I'm thinking, if you want to play a game, you play a game, but the game's got to be under an hour to 45 minutes. All right, for 9 innings. That way, you're coming back to it. But if you do not want to play the full games, each player has to equal a certain amount of points. And then if you wanted to fast roll wins and losses, that there was some kind of chart depending on each team's rating, that you would go against that team and roll, and there's a chance that you can either win, or if that team is just better, lose. So you can just compile the wins and losses to fast track a bunch of games and say, oh, this is a critical game, and you look at the thing, okay? You look at the standings and saying, no, I'm going to play this game because I'm a game and a half behind, and this team's in first. I'm going to physically play this game. And then play that game. And then to kind of fast roll the other teams. Okay, this team and this team's playing. Boom, boom, boom. And then at the end of the season, depending on who wins a certain amount of money. And if once you win a certain amount of money, you can attribute that to adjust your rating either up or lower. If you don't have enough money, or you fall below a certain amount of money, that your rating might go lower, or you're going to lose certain players and do free agency. There's a way to do it. And have that rolling influence by the opponent, the opposite, influenced by the opposing pitcher and field rating, something like that. Yeah, because then at the end of the season, if you do really well, or if you are a lower team, You can either take the money and invest it in bring somebody in, but there also has to be a way that the players can up themselves or lower themselves. This guy didn't do too well. You would roll on a chart for each player to see who gets better, and then maybe cut them and see if you can get some money back in free agency or whatever. Or, oh no, that's soccer, they get paid. You free up that money, and then you're able to plug another player that might be good and that you can maybe possibly grow. And once they hit a certain age, they can't get better. They actually lose stats as they get older. Boy. Wow. My God, that would be so much fun. It's a little intricate, but make it simple enough where people are just going and following a chart. And maybe it's a book of charts in a way. Except when you play the game, that'd be a little bit different. You have stats, kind of like a war game where you would have certain stats. You know, your ballistic skill, your weapon skill, your movement, this, that, and the other. What's your speed? Are you more likely to be able to get to second base? Can you steal? What are the chances against the catcher? Catcher has a 6. I have an 8 for stealing. That's a difference of 2. So it would be +2 to the runner. Roll a d6. Oh, he picked me off. Oh, I made it. I stole second base. How interesting is that? The little intricacies of the game. Is he on alert for a stolen base? He knows he's fast. Maybe that's a +1. Don't overcomplicate it, but make it where it feels that you get immersed in it. I wonder. I think I'm completely off base here. New channel name. Rob's Tabletop Design World. Yeah, that'd be the day. I'm not smart enough to design a game. That's what Herman does. Brilliant. I always admire people because I sit here sometimes and I'll come up, like I came up with this game in my head that I wanted to do something like them, you know? And an RPG baseball game. Yeah, I think that's all any of those games kind of become is RPGs. Your favorite player comes up. The team becomes personal to you. My cleanup hitter. He's got 38 home runs. It's August. I'm chasing a home run record. Man, I want him swinging every time. But we also need to win so we can get to the playoffs. And do it the old school way. 2 divisions. American League, National League. You got me thinking, buddy. There's a way to do it. Yeah, can you imagine that? And then because and if you really think about it, Herman, you got Mark Walker, Mr. King of Design, okay? I mean quality, okay? He makes a board that's massive, and you could just have maybe some charts on it, beautiful field, he'll do it beautifully. The quality of everything will be fantastic. The players are chits. Maybe the stats are on the chits. You have your name. That's interesting. That's interesting. Because you don't have to go crazy. Has a fielding number, a run number, and a hitting number. Maybe your pitcher has different types of stats. There's a way to do it. There's a way to do it. And make it glorious. And you gotta make it pretty. So when you got a guy on first and second, be able to put your team out on the field. And you have the baseball field, and maybe you have it blocked off, certain sections blocked off. Like in the outfield, if somebody's playing left field, they can play deep or they can play shallow. So you move your chit there, and that's going to determine a certain number. Infield, same thing. Play in or play deep. And when your pitcher pitches, you roll to see if he throws a strike or a ball, okay? And then have where if your batter chases it or goes after it, you would roll to see if he's going to chase. He has a number that he has a tendency to chase bad balls or take a bad ball. Nah. Maybe that's getting too thinky. Or it's a one strike thing. He strikes out if he chases a bad ball. Okay, he throws a good ball. Does the player hit the ball? Because it's not a good ball, so he doesn't get a hold of it as much? Or is it a good strike and he's consistent? And as the pitcher wears down, the player has a better chance of taking. So the game moves a little bit more. Option to bunt. Yeah, that's a pretty easy option. Bunt would be a high percentage thing. Yeah, you can make different stadiums. Different depths. Different looks. Maybe the chits go into like a holder with different colors to represent different teams, because you got to make the things mounted. Of course, well, it has to be mounted. You can't do a paper map with that. Too glorious. It's too glorious of a game to do a different mounted map. We're on to something here. We're on to something. Well, a lot to ponder, a lot to think. It's amazing how this turns into something totally different, right? Something totally different. But, and I love baseball highlights. I love the tournament aspect of it. I think one of the funnest times I ever had was Berkey dragged me over to Mike Fitzgerald and said, Mike really likes you. I go, really? I was quite impressed with that. And he says, we're doing a tournament. Do you want to play? And it's the first time I stopped Because usually when I go to a convention, all I freaking do is tape and do things to try to get you guys good content. I stopped and I played that tournament. It was the first time I played Baseball Highlights 2045 or whatever the heck it was. And I almost won the whole thing. It was the last play, and I picked the wrong card, and I lost. But I had so much fun. It was so much fun. And it moved pretty quickly. But that's what that game's for. Herman says, Pursue the Pennant had different fields that you could set up inside the box. Very cool. See? Yep. Jesus. Boy, there's so much you can do. So much freaking potential. It's scary. Sports games are fun. You know, you can go dungeon crawling and everything, and that's great. But when you can be competitive, and because it's fun to be competitive, whether against an AI or the AI component, well, that's pretty easy for this baseball game. Because either way, you're rolling, and maybe they have a card for tendencies, which makes it really easy, so it's not overcomplicated AI. Three stats when the player comes up to bat. Maybe have a booklet with over 180 players or something. I know it's a pain in the neck. Some of them you can make very similar, but you've got your speed. You got your fielding ability number. Whether you're left-handed or right when you bat. And then your batting has to be split up into three numbers. Aggressive, safe, and bunting ability. Maybe four numbers. Aggressive, safe, bunting ability, and control. Meaning the ability to take a walk. No, that would fall under your aggressive. If you're aggressive, you're going to be swinging at bad pitches. It would be three numbers. Herman, I think we got it. You have to have a bunting ability, and you have to declare it. You can almost have a card, 3 cards in your hand, and the player and the pitcher has 3 cards in their hand. I'm not going to tell you I'm going to bunt. I'm going to put a card down. Okay, go. And then the pitcher would say, curveball, fastball, such and such. He puts it down. You turn it over, and that cross-references with that aggressive boop, boop, and the pitcher also has a thing, and then you roll off that. And that is what happens. The pitcher should just go, I'm going to intentionally walk him right before he puts him in the batter box. That's a no-brainer. That's easy. You can intentionally walk. Okay, I'm going to put him on first. Okay, walk. Check it in your box. Man on first and second. 2 outs. Bottom of the 8th. And I want to pitch to the pitcher. Hold it. Timeout. Pinch hitter. Boom. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go with this guy because he hits in clutch situations here. I'm going to go aggressive. Pitcher goes, okay. This guy likes to hit. I know he can hit fastballs. He's aggressive. I'm going to use a curveball because there's a chance it might, slip him up because of his aggressiveness. Then you both roll, and the result, hit a single. The difference is in our roll on the D100 or whatever is 35. Cross-reference that with his aggressiveness and a curveball, single, and then you roll left, right, or center. It's not that hard. Boom. Okay. What are your runners doing? Well, it's single. He's going to try from second. He's going to try to go home. Maybe establish for your runner aggressive. Try to get home. Tie up the game. On a single or a hit. So he tries to take that extra base. You take the fielder's fielding ability against the runner's speed. Roll. Check it on a chart. What the difference is? Nope, he's out at home. They win the game. When batter comes up and the pitcher pitches, it's one roll. Either they strike out, hit, or walk. Sounds like a two-player game. Yep, true. But you can have an AI. It wouldn't take much to do the AI. Deck of cards for the pitcher. But now you're back to a super tactical baseball game where you only have time to play one game at a time. Well, I'm talking when you decide to play a game. You need dice, cards, mechanism. See, I'm talking about when you say, okay, this is a critical game and I want to physically play this game. There has to be a way that if you want to fast track a bunch of games, well, I know I'm going to beat this team. There's very little chance of me losing, but I'll be able to roll the team rating versus their team rating and check a certain chart, take weather or whatever in the thing. Boom. Okay, that game's done. You go down all the games until the game that maybe you want to play. Because there's a way to do it a couple different ways. And I'm throwing things out there trying to think of how to make it fun, have a little bit of tactic, but not get too super deep with it, but run off these numbers. But if you want to take the team as a whole, as your team gets better with wins, its rating maybe goes a little bit higher, and there's other teams that their rating's going to go lower, and then be able to cross-reference that on a chart and roll and say, well, okay, because this game's going to be real boring, the Texas Rangers are going to play Oakland. Well, I don't want to play that game out. How do I fast-track roll it and see what happens and give a score? And the only team I really want to keep track of as far as stats is my team, because I want to see how we do against certain records, and can my team do better or such? For the people that want to be super tactical, then they keep track of everything. Maybe it's a 5-game season or something like that, 10-game season. Or if you want to do 162 games, you have to have the ability to roll. And as they get a certain amount of wins, there is a percentage that goes up a bit. As they go down, there's a percentage that they lose. I think it could be a 2-hour, 9-inning game played. You see, I would want to keep a 9-inning game about an hour to 50 minutes. Because I think anything after that, I love Blood Bowl. One of my favorite games of all time. And I get into it and I will play it until I'm blue in the face. But the 2-hour game is exhausting. It really is. It really is. And if you can fast track seasons in a way, but have the game where you could play a bit of a tactical, but not too tactical. Again, this is where I'm throwing things. I'm throwing against the wall to see what sticks. A season is better. Well, if you're going to do a season, then how do you become... See, that's one of the biggest problems is when you make it a season game. Okay? How does that team become so personal to you? Okay? How do those players mean something to you? Where do you get the I'm so locked in and I'm involved. It's so thematic because this team or this particular player means something to me. Like in Blood Bowl, okay, you are developing this player along, and then he gets killed by a giant black orc, and then guess what? You're like, oh! And then you have to buy a whole brand new player to take his place because he's dead. All right, the team becomes personal to you. If you fast track the season, the team doesn't really become that personal. So it's like, oh yeah, we won. Okay, we won that game, we lost that game. There's got to be a way to have a little bit of depth to it, but not too much depth to it. But where things become personal, and you're invested in that team. How do you build that investment? Emotional investment. Maybe your team gets better, like leveling up. Yeah. Can you take a team that's a bunch of shite and bring it to glory? There's got to be a way to do it. It's one of the most overlooked sports. I don't get it. There's something there. Oh, hour 23 minutes. We spent most of it talking about a baseball game instead of everything else. Listen, if you're interested in any of those games that I was talking about, novaprime860@hotmail.com. Send me an email. If you want to get some information over to Herman Lutman, because maybe you have a great idea and you want him to take all the credit for it, email me at novaprime860@hotmail.com and I'll send it over to him. Your team can still I gotta put my I got glasses here. Why am I not putting my glasses on? Your team can still be a deck of unique characters with unique stats in many aspects of the game. It's how you resolve the game that is key. You know something, Herman? Have you ever seen Duel of Ages? Have you ever seen the latest edition, World Spanner? As a matter of fact, I want to get this guy to talk to you, by the way. World Spanner Factions. The card, beautiful art, but there's like 900 stats on there. And it's great. And it doesn't take away from anything. I wonder if you do it in that type of format. If you take a look, if you look up World Spanner Faction cards or whatever, Duel of Ages I have seen. Maybe that type of thing where it takes, I mean, developing it will be, your head will freaking explode. I don't think we have that much time in life. But once you have that easy mechanic down, all the information should be on that card. And of course, a little special ability here or there that might make that guy a little bit different. There's a way to do this. And I'm surprised nobody's tried to do it. I really am. It's one of the things that just makes me, scratch my head. Why we don't have a great baseball game, a great football game. That'll do that. I gotta go over to play.com. He's usually pretty good at using that kind of stuff, but the games are always kind of, you look at them and you go, okay, the wrestling game's a great game. Face to the Mat, great wrestling game. But there's always just something missing, like with the baseball or the hockey. The golf was okay. Yes, the Duel of Ages structure, card structure would work very well. I think baseball board game is going to be easier than a football game. Oh, I agree. Football game. This is the football game. This is the closest thing that I've found, and it is just. I'm doing check the video out tomorrow. I'm going to do another live play. It's shuffleboard football, but it feels like it, and it's just fun, plain and simple. The app makes it just superb. I love play games, but you feel like the game is playing you, and you have no input. Exactly, and that's where I get lost with it. I mean, I like Demolition Derby was fun. Bowling, I think, was a lot of fun because you kind of had an input on that. Face to the Mat's good, but when you start talking about the big sports games, the game's playing you. You are just kind of sitting back and going, yeah, well, I'm just, okay, I got to do this. I roll this. Okay, that's what's happened. I really didn't do much. And that's where it gets lost on me. That's exactly how I feel. That's why he's brilliant. That's why Herman's brilliant. Interesting. Now, it has to be done. It has to be done by Herman Luttman. This kind of genius should be able. Matter of fact, when we get off here, I expect that he will have the game designed and already done by Tuesday. And so when he does that, I will let you guys know. All right, enough being a clown. The Queen and I have much to do, right, pup? Right, pup? Yeah. The farm is calling. I actually got to tape some stuff too as well. So I want to get that done. So guys, I love you all as always. This was fun as always. We do this every Sunday, and guess what? Next week, big auction. So you want to be ready for it. A lot of stuff going. I'm trying to get away from the really, really deep games, except the ones that really are very personal to me. Like, I will never get rid of a Mark Walker game, okay? I will never get rid of a Stonemaier game. I will never get rid of a bunch of different things. Oh, we have so much to do here. I have children. I have so much. But, and also, I got to beat Jaws. I am going to make it my personal mission today to beat Jaws. So, boom. There you go. All right. I love you all. Have a wonderful Sunday. I will see you during the week because we're going to come live because I've got to fix a video I did. You don't flick, you shuffleboard. So we'll take care of that. Guys, until next time, it is your old pal Rob saying we shall see you soon. Take it easy, everybody.